You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show. Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome back, everyone, to the 11:30 podcast. What's goody? How everybody doing out there on this Wednesday, man? We back at it. For real, good morning to everyone who's listening to me on EB Radio this morning. And for those who are watching on YouTube, man, appreciate it a lot, man. Thank everyone coming back. If you're new to the podcast, hit that subscribe button down below. Like, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, man, it's Wednesday. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30. It's time to get into it, man. I got amazing guests that's going to be joining me on this week's show. Entrepreneur, motivational speaker, you guys. He's a counselor. He's a podcaster. My guy, Keith Hall, is going to be joining me, as you can see right here on the 11:30 podcast this week. And it's going to be a dope one, so sit tight. For real, sit tight. It's going to be really, really good. Man, for real. But we ain't going to waste no more time. We're going to get into it, man. For real. Keith, man, how's it going?
What's going on, man? How you doing, Dre?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm doing
good,
wonderful
man.
And blessed, man. How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Everything's great, man. Just getting ready, man, for the spring, getting ready for the summer, man. Transitioning from this weather, man, and just still trying to be prepared on what's to come, man. And still grinding, man. It's good to have me on, man. Thank you.
No problem, man. I appreciate you, like I said before, taking the invite, coming here on the 11:30 podcast. I always like reaching out to different like-minded people such as myself, man, to come on and have fun and chat with us, man. For real.
Yes,
for real. But how life treating you?
All is well, all is well, Dre. No complaints over here, man. Just, I've been doing, I'll share with you a little bit, man. This counseling thing, this therapy thing, man, has been kicking up, specifically these last several years, not just because of COVID, because, all that's going on in our society, in our world today, man. So we just been busy. We just really been busy, man, trying to help families, help individuals, help couples transition, get from one place to another, and live a healthy lifestyle. So just all is well on my end, brother.
Okay, that's good, man. That's good. We need more people like you in the world, man, for real. But for my listeners and viewers who's joining me this week, I always allow my guests, man, to tell the world about you, man. Tell everyone about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm from a little city, Camden, New Jersey. We born raised in Camden, New Jersey. My family is from down south Georgia. Born and raised Camden, New Jersey, and matriculated through the public schools in Camden, and played the trumpet. And trumpet was my thing to get me to college. And fortunately, I was able to get a scholarship to Lincoln University, first Black HBCU, Lincoln University. Shout out to LU, the Blue and Orange, Lincoln University, and matriculated, went to school. And when I came home from school, I, took a job with the Board of Education, Camden Board of Education. And after I came home, I realized there was a lot of help that was needed, in our community, when it comes to young men that look like me. And when I was at the school, they call them paraprofessionals now. I was an IA, an instructional assistant. Okay. So, come home from school and I'm helping out, did things with youth and took young men under my belt, little boys under my belt. And I had my favorites. And, it was those kids that, had some struggles. In my job, and how I felt was to help these guys overcome some of those struggles, whatever the struggles were. And for me, that led me to, working with, at-risk youth and working, in that area. I spent over 20 years in the correctional facility, working in correctional facilities, running a transitional program, helping young men transition back home from being incarcerated, and did social work, directed a transitional program there, worked in partnership with parole, probation, and really just counseled and saw how these families, really needed that support. And although we thought the support was there, unfortunately it wasn't. So I felt that at the time, this is my calling, this is what I do, and it's easy for me. It's easy to see someone get from that's hurting, and they need this help, they need this support. And I'm really just going to step in and see what it is that I can do, to help them get from one end of the bridge to the next. So,
Okay.
yep. Yeah. So I've been doing it, man. Jeez. I think over 25 years, brother. Over
Oh wow.
25 years, man. Yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yeah, man. That's definitely your calling, man. You've been
Yeah.
doing it for that long, man. What led you to what led you to helping these young men, these young
You know
adults,
what?
man?
Dre. I think for me, I started really seeing these kids when they return back home, right?
Mm.
So they've been incarcerated for 3 years. They're eating, they're, got a place to sleep, got a place to lay their head. It's safe there, and whatever that safe looks like for someone that's in jail, right? So when they return back home, though, they're right back into the same environment. Not just the environment, the fellas that's on the block, but they still trying to find something to eat that's in the refrigerator. They still trying to find that level of consistency at home, with their parents, and it's not there. So my job was to really give them the foundation, help find that source for them, what can motivate them and catapult them to find what makes their heart pump, what makes them motivated, what inspires them to be great, and whatever it is that it is for them to be great in. I find that we all have our different loves, and it is to be respected. It's unique. Something that we're made to do. I'm a God-fearing man, and I do believe that we are created, to be unique, and there's only one of us out there, even if it's just twins, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's let's see if we could find the uniqueness in this individual and him accept who he is as a person, and how do I get him, how do I help him, if I'm planting a seed, or if I'm watering the seed that was already planted, see if I could get this brother focused and headed in the right direction.
Okay. I can dig that, man. I can dig that. And you said
Yes,
you
sir.
were a correctional officer, right?
No. I worked in a correctional facility
Okay. Yeah.
with
Okay.
juveniles. I did social work. Did ran groups for young men prior to getting my master's, and then I went back to school 2009
Hmm.
and got my master's in 2011. Went back to school because I know, this is definitely during that time, we didn't see a lot of us black men as therapists, as
Yeah.
counselors and people that can tap into us that really knew what we went through, so I was able to give and able to, share and listen, without judgment of those that are going through, um, you know, uh, during that point in life. So,
Yeah.
started doing marriage counseling, individual counseling, couple counseling, and, been rocking ever since.
Okay, okay. Did you find yourself working with those young guys, connecting with them? Obviously going through so much and not having maybe someone to turn to.
Yeah, all the time, man, all the time. It's some guys I easily connected with. Some guys they just stayed up under me. Some of them still reach out to me to this day. Just to tap in, pick my brain on some thoughts, some ideas. And what I found is, genuinely at their core, they want to do better. I always say it's harder to take a step forward than it is to stay complacent. You can stay in a place and be complacent, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. But when those guys are really trying, it takes a lot more effort. And oftentimes, man, I saw these dudes really trying, taking a step back, but just trying, just to see some of these young men gain employment, Dre, was dope as heck, man. Some of these guys, man, they hold on to their check. They got their check. We doing certain things, and, send them to a financial literacy class. And, they got their first real check, not a check from the street, not no
Yeah,
cash from off the
yeah.
block.
Uh-huh.
So when they got that, man, it was just dope. And them being able to, take their mother's shop and food shop and give them money, honest, from some honest work. So I often stay in contact with some of them guys. They tap into me on the regular.
Hey, that's cool, man. That is really cool. I like what you do, man. I like what you do,
Yes, sir.
empower and help strengthen, the black community,
Yes, sir.
boys and men, because I didn't grow up with my dad in my life.
Right.
So,
Right.
I know as and I'm about to be soon to be dad also this coming August. So
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I talk about it a lot too. I'm real
Yes,
excited.
sir. Yes, sir.
But I want to, extol, put in him, that you could be whatever you want to be
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
and just help and guide him in certain directions, because uh, knowing men out here, and guys that I know, don't have
Right.
maybe
Right.
not their mom in their life, but also a dad
Yeah.
in their life, a father
Yeah.
figure in their life, to
Right.
teach them which ways to go, man. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important for us men and
Yeah.
boys.
And Drake, I didn't have it. I didn't have my dad. I think I was two when my dad bounced. I didn't have that. I went through a phase when I was older, when I was about to have my daughter. My daughter is now 17. My son, I have a 13-year-old son. And when I was about to have my daughter, I actually went through a phase where I wanted to talk to my daughter. I mean, talk to my father. He lived across town, never really did much with me, never invested much time, money, or anything. But I wanted to just tap into him. And for me, it came to me that, what is the benefit in tapping into him? I knew the type of lifestyle that he lived, but how would I benefit from tapping into him? And I had to take a second, and fortunately I didn't. The one thing that I learned was, if I engage into this conversation, I may think less of him than what I already do. So for me, it was, you know what? Let me just leave things as they are and continue to move forward. So, congratulations on that, man. You're gonna be a dope, great dad, man. He's gonna see some of these podcasts, some of these conversations. They're gonna
Yes.
be amazing for
Yes,
sure.
man. Yes,
sir.
yes. I definitely get that, man. But you were just speaking, how you wanted to reach out to him. What was it? What moment in your life that you was like, yo, man, I want to reach out to him? Was it
Yeah,
just
I think it so it was maybe about a year, maybe about 6 months, I say, before my daughter was born. And the thing for me was, I never saw what a healthy marriage looked like in my house growing up. What a father, his role was, and I was about to step into that role. um, what is exactly his role? Now I saw, Mr. Huxtable's role on TV, but I didn't know what that really looked like that in the home. My home
Yes.
didn't look like that. I had one female, mother, two sisters, and a couple aunts, coming in and out, working, being successful. So for me, I wanted to know, what is that role? My mother, she was the one that grinded. She was the one working two jobs. She was the one coming up, getting my report cards, sending me off to school, giving me a couple dollars. When I was able to get a new pair of sneaks, I was able to get it. It wasn't him, but I wanted to fulfill a role that I never saw in person. So there was an interest from me. I felt like I did have the skills, but there was they talk about LeBron James chasing a ghost and Michael Jordan. I felt like there was a ghost I was chasing that I didn't know what it looked like, that was in my house. So I kind of wanted to just rap with him, talk to him. What was it? Talk about the pressures, of fatherhood. Was that one of the reasons why he left? So what was it? That pressure, not being able to, sustain or maintain that relationship, the fatherhood, certainly talked about that, wanted to talk about that, but, I kind of held off, and wondered, why didn't he come back? Why didn't he, just step in?
Yeah.
But, thank God, I was able to maintain and be, what my kids call me, an awesome dad. They might just be, blowing smoke up me.
Hey, man, I
But they
believe it.
do. Yeah,
Yeah, I
man.
believe it,
So,
man. You're an awesome
yes,
dad,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Man, like that's similar to me, man, because I seen my father a lot. Once I got
Hmm.
older and I started going places where I was going to work or heading to the store or something, I would see him. And he would
Hmm.
always stop me at first. So it was like, and my mom always would, say, you look so much like your father, every
Right,
time I
right,
look
right.
at you, and she will always tell me stories of, man, I saw your father today or XYZ. But when I got older, he will, like I said, he will always stop me to
Hmm.
try to have a conversation with me.
Mhm.
and maybe it would last maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but he would always give me his phone number. And
Right.
when I got his phone number and try to reach out to him, it just seemed like it just never went
Right.
anywhere.
Right.
So, what type of advice you have for some men out there or boys out there that don't have a father figure that maybe want to reach out to their dad, or just some advice?
You know what, Dre? I always, I'm one man to always say that we need a mentor.
Mm,
We need somebody to look up to, somebody that we could tap into, specifically as Black men. Before I answer that, I wanted to just share. So we go into this thing as Black men, right? I did this thing. I have a podcast, if you don't mind, just our thoughts podcast with the fellas. And I did a piece last summer where I interviewed right before Father's Days. I had a conversation with about, I think, 11 or 12 fathers. One of the questions I talked to them about was, what did your dad mean to you? And what does fatherhood mean to you? Amazing conversation coming from these brothers, all Black men. And a lot of things were torn back. A lot of things were peeled back when it came to what their fathers meant to them and how it impacted them in their lives, them growing up, the choices that they made, and even those that didn't have their father with them, and how it shaped them being a father themselves. So for me, I just thought it was an amazing concept that had came to me.
mm,
And we always say that Black men don't talk. Crazy conversations, Dre, that came out of here. Even when we get men into counseling and therapy, Black men do talk, and it takes a while for us to trust a person, and it'll take out one of those notions, one of the myths that Black men don't talk, but we actually do. We have to have somebody on the other side that we do trust. So for me, it's when we talk about the mentorship, when we talk about finding someone, I often say we got to find somebody that we trust. You know,
mhm.
um, in terms of when you're about to become a father, what do you do? Look for somebody that is that you can tap into, somebody that you can touch, somebody that you can pick their brain, and they're cool with it and they're open and honest is the most important thing. Them understanding that you're different than that individual, but they give you the foundation of what it is to be a father and what fatherhood looks like.
Yeah,
And I often say, that is one of the best things in becoming a father, and be open to messing up. I think that is the most important thing, for becoming a father and being a father. Be okay with just simply messing up and making a mistake and making a bad choice. We got to accept that and eat that. We can look back at our dads and our parents and say, you know what, they don't messed up too. They made so many mistakes, but we still accept them, we still receive them, and we still love them. So for those that are about to step into fatherhood, I think, tapping into somebody that tapping into, whether it's an uncle or, a neighbor, or somebody that you trust, it could be at your local mosque, it could be at your local church. Tap into somebody that you trust. They have fatherhood classes as well that teach you some of the foundational things of becoming a father.
hmm I like that. I really do. But trust, man, trust is something you got to earn. And as far as Black people, we gotta be like, hold up, wait a minute, I like you, we trust you, because a lot of us, don't trust so much though. But
Right, right.
I definitely get that, man.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the podcast. You're also a motivational speaker. How
yeah,
did how
yeah.
did that, how did that come about?
So, so for me, what happened was I was raised in a home where it was my mother and my two sisters. When I was young, we were always at my grandmother's house, nothing but women there. And back in the 70s, children, we already know they were seen but not heard, right? So as I, just observed a lot and a lot of just different things that were going on in my childhood, I never said anything. I was one to avoid conflicts. I was one that didn't speak my voice. I held on to it. I have thoughts, but I just continued to move on, because I didn't think my voice had value, and I didn't think it had weight. It held weight. I'll never forget, I think my junior year, my uncle told me, my uncle's 5 years older than me. He said, Keith, you're going to get tired of holding your voice and not saying what's on your mind. Because for me, it was easier to let go. I justified it too, right? I'm like, nah, I don't want to do with that. I'm gonna just go play some ball.
Yeah.
So after a while, I realized, you know what? I do have some, I do have some insight. I do have some thought. I do have some awareness about what's really going on. Let me throw this out here. And after years and years and years of, just speaking my voice and, assisting people, helping people, I was catapulted into a position in a corporation where I had to start teaching. And through my teachings, motivation came and inspiration came, and people definitely were inspired. And for me, this is a dude coming from a dude that, my lack of self-esteem when I was, this one Wesley wasn't out, this one Jordan wasn't out, them dark skin guys, they wasn't really loved back then. So my self-esteem was low, bro.
Okay.
So essentially, man, I really just began to trust myself, trust my studying, trust, what I was saying. And I was very much an observer, and I'm still not one to talk much, but I can definitely pull a lot out of an individual and, get them to a place where they can find a safe place and find a place where there's some positivity and success.
Hey, that's cool, man. That's real cool. And look, I always say I'm that type of person that I don't want conflict. I ain't about to raise my voice, be arguing with you. I'm a little just like that. Were you shy as a young guy?
Yeah, definitely shy. I excelled out there on the basketball court, on the football field. Okay. I excelled in the band room, but socially, I wasn't that dude. Okay. I wasn't that dude to be out there, expressing my thoughts and my feelings. And I'm cool. I'm good. I'm gonna play the background. So as I guess got into my 20s, I grew. I grew. And for me, I always say that, there's a kid on the inside of a king, right? So that kid part, that shy part, that social aspect for me, it never grew. It stopped growing when I was young. And then when I became, a man, I started to become a lot more social and started exercising my voice and, started speaking. And, so the shyness did go away. I'm still quiet, but, the shyness, it definitely went away.
Hey, that's cool. I like that. I really like that story, man. Because growing up, I was definitely shy. I was a shy person. I didn't want to talk in front of a crowd,
right?
And I was nervous. And the fact that I had a disability, that was just icing on the cake. So I was just definitely in the corner. Okay. If I knew you and you was my buddy, we would sit, we would talk or whatever. Yeah. But other than that, man. But since I've been doing this for the last 2.5 years, going on 3. I've just been able to, open up slowly and just start, finding myself and being me. So I definitely understand.
Dre, what's crazy is, so we started podcasting summer of 2020. We're a year behind. We started podcasting summer 2020. I've been on several different podcasts, my own podcast, different conversation. Right before, there's always some anxiety. There's always some nervousness. There's always something going on in the inside of, I hope I'm ready. And I am so nervous, whether I'm speaking in front of people, always, man.
Yes.
But, for me, you feel that too, right?
Always. And when I'm sitting here recording or whatever, I'll be super nervous. And then I sit back and edit and I'll be like, oh, that wasn't bad.
This was good, right?
Yeah, man, definitely. Yo, my man, Keith Hall, man. Yo, you got great points, man. Great points. But you guys, man, sit tight. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And on the other side, we're going to keep chopping it up with my guy, Keith, man, Hall, here on the 1130 podcast. Don't go nowhere. You're listening and you're watching to the 1130 podcast. You dig?
$8 million hands sanitized. 1 million faces protected. 400,000 rail cars disinfected. We're humming right along, keeping you safe when you ride Metro.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kendall Stones, aka Kofi Weaston.
This your boy DOE Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 11:30 podcast. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills approved.
Yo, we back here on the 11:30 podcast. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the short commercial break. I have my awesome guest, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, man, counselor, Keith Hall, joining me this week here on the 11:30 podcast. We're gonna hop back into everything, man. For real, it was fun. Keith, man, I gotta ask your opinion. I gotta get a male perspective of it. I had a young lady on, Brandy J. Flynn, shout her out, who was on last week. But I gotta get your opinion on it. The whole Will Smith controversy. What was your thoughts on it?
Man, so my initial thoughts was I was a little, I think I was disappointed. So just briefly, I don't want to speak too long or hold you too long. I had recently read the Will Smith book, his memoir, I think in February, right? So after reading his book, I started getting a love for Will, a better understanding for who he is. I started watching, there's a show that he does on Discovery, I forget what channel, when it's talking about, nature. It's a nature show that he does. And I found it to be, I love the show. I love nature, and I started watching Will sometimes on social media, and just his intricate ways, his creativity. Reading the book gave me kind of like a better understanding of who Will was and who he is as a person, how he grew up. So I'm a huge Chris Rock fan as well. Huge Chris Rock fan. I know some people, they may have said, they say Chris is corny. I love Chris's joke. One of my top 5 comedians of all time, easily.
Yeah.
When I heard the joke, and I watched Will walk up there, I was disappointed at the slap. At first, I thought, what the heck is going on? It looked like everyone said, it was staged. It looked like Will was being one of his characters, because there was a pause, Dre, right before he slapped him, and he went back and he slapped him. Chris stood there. He turned around and he walked back. But when the joke was made, Will was laughing.
Yeah.
Will in his book, in his memoirs, talks about, laughing is one of his ways to get over some uncomfortable moments. Also, Will was silly. So I felt like, that wasn't a genuine slap.
Or that wasn't a genuine laugh, neither?
Or that wasn't a genuine laugh. Okay. Or it wasn't a genuine laugh. I was disappointed that in this moment that he took that opportunity. And, we talked about it on our show, Just Our Thoughts with the Fellas, Monday night, where my point was, I thought Will knew that this was a safe place, that I can show everybody that I'm capable of protecting my wife and nothing happened to me. Because if I hit Chris Rock, I know Chris Rock is not going to hit me back. Chris Rock is on record talking about times where he was beat up in Brooklyn, times when, he was bullied in Brooklyn. That's not Chris's life. To get into rumbles, to get into scuffles and conflict like that. So I felt like Will took an opportunity because he knew it was a safe place, to smack Chris Rock, show the world that I can protect my wife, and I'm gonna go back and sit down, and I'm gonna say something to him from my seat. Another thing I was disappointed at was the fact that, why am I forgetting his name? Who produced the show? Oh my gosh, it was the black brother who produced the show. Why am I forgetting his name? This was his show that he was producing. Will, you up for an Oscar? Samuel L. Jackson is up for a Lifetime Achievement Award. Your show, his show Bel Air, that show Bel Air is crushing it. And you use this opportunity to show the world, how selfish is that? To show the world that you can protect your wife. I was really disappointed in that. And I understand you got to protect your wife. My thought was initially, Chris Rock is a known comedian for over 30 years. You know, we don't know if Chris knew about her alopecia or not. You know, we don't know that. Some people can say they knew. I didn't know until I didn't know either.
I know neither.
Chris is a well-known comedian, and he told a joke. That's what Chris does. It was said that, and I forget the producer's name. I don't know why, and I'm sorry, I forget his name. Amazing producer of movies, black producer, said that everything Chris had these jokes written, and every joke that Chris had written on a prompter, he didn't say. But he trusts Chris with those, with the jokes. And when this was going on, some of the stuff was funny, and it wasn't as funny as he thought. But his thing was, this is Chris Rock, I'm gonna let him go. So I was just a little bit disappointed that Chris took that opportunity, man, to I don't know, to take advantage of that at that time. You know, unfortunately, he did apologize.
Yeah, that was a crazy situation. And then also Samuel Jackson, that was his first Oscar, and I think everything got Trump, about him winning his Oscar and everything. So yeah, man, I appreciate your response on that, man, for real.
No problem.
But we're gonna move on, you guys, on the podcast. What inspires you, Keith?
So my Will Packer. I'm sorry, Will Packer. I'm bugging. Will Packer was the producer for that 2022 Oscars. I'm bugging because I love Will Packer. So what inspired me was I love conversation. I love thoughtful conversation that have substance. To be able to talk, it's sitting here talking to you, Drake, and picking. We haven't met, we communicated, but just sitting here picking each other's brain and talk and have a conversation is something that I love to do. I was on a podcast before, and someone said to me, they said to me, "Hey Keith, yo, you should really do podcasting from your experience in therapy, counseling, coaching, motivation. Keith, I think it'd be good. You're very trusting. You don't judge, and you can hold a conversation. And I think it'd be dope." So my lady, who is freaking amazing, and her style is, just go. I ran it past her, and I was just kind of thinking about it, and she said, "Just do it. Don't take long. Just go." And she knows me real well, so she already knew I was going to take a second. Well, babe, I need to get this done. I need to get this mic. Well, that's not the mic that you want. I need to get this. And all these different things. And she's like, "Nah, babe, just go." And she supported me wholeheartedly 100%. And I came up with the idea, came up with the concept. And initially we had 5 successful black men, on, and then it dwindled down to 4. And our 4 is great. 4 different personalities where we're talking about national and local news. We're talking about trending topics, all things black culture. And we have some core conversations, which I think is amazing. And we have that opportunity, just like you, Dre, on the 1130 podcast, where we introduce, people to the world. These amazing people, the common man, the common folk to the world, and everything that they have going on that the world hasn't seen yet or heard. And I think is dope. I think it's a crazy concept that we have, in which a lot of people don't get a chance to see. We're not talking about hood stuff. That's not my lifestyle. So it's hard for me to talk that. But I can talk about things that are trending. I can talk about how do we cope with coming out of COVID-19. I can give some different approaches in how to do that. We talk about relationships and managing relationships and how to communicate. We stuck in the house with somebody for 2 years. You know what I mean? And how do we work through that? So we had some dope conversations where we talk about men's health as well. I've had several doctors on where we talked about men's health, and the feedback, I'll tell you this, the feedback that I get, a lot of men don't. We do a live show and then it goes streaming. A lot of men don't comment while we're doing a live show, but they do tap into us afterwards, especially when our shows are really, really catered to men, when we talk about men's health. So that's the feedback that I get. The creating content is what inspires me.
Hey, I like that, man. I definitely like that. I definitely do. But we're gonna get into your podcast in just a bit, and we're gonna tap into some new episodes when they drop. But you guys, man, we're gonna move on here on the 1130 podcast. It's time, you guys, for the 1130 podcast hot seat. Okay. All right. Keith, I got 6 questions for you, and we're gonna roll with it. You ready?
Boy.
All right.
We're gonna see, Dre.
Okay, all right. What would you consider to be your deepest fear?
Oh man. Whew. My deepest fear is not preparing my kids for adulthood. That's my deepest fear, that I didn't complete the job that I was tasked to do, that I wasn't prepping my kids to be adults, and we are understanding that they're going to make mistakes, they're going to make some bad decisions, but totally failing them is my deepest fear.
Okay, I can dig that. If you can erase one event from history, which one would you erase?
If I could erase one event, Dre, that's a good one. If I could erase one event from history, which one would I erase? Slavery.
Okay, slavery. Yeah, I asked that question a couple of times. I think that was the answer. So slavery it is. Okay, all right. What's the single best piece of advice you have ever received?
I think just simply trust yourself.
Okay.
It's just really just that simple. Trust yourself.
Yeah. Definitely. I agree. Trust yourself, man, because hey, nobody else gonna trust yourself like yourself. Definitely gotta trust yourself. All right. What is the most important lesson to teach a child? I think, man, that's a good question. One of the most important, I want to say, it's so many, man. Well, I could go from reading, I could go from, how to grinding. Jeez, Dre, you're killing me with this one, man. The most important lesson to teach a child, I want to say, I wonder if it's how to communicate, not just talking, listening. There's a saying, faith without works is dead, and it's the work. You can have all the trust in the world, but it's the work behind it. Yes.
So I'm wondering if that's it. To have faith, but do the work and grind.
Okay. I can agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Communication is one of them too.
Yeah. And how to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I got you. What is your favorite thing about your career?
Meeting people, networking, meeting people. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. I've met some of the most amazing people, man, just through all of this, man. People that, I didn't know you did this. Oh, you live about 20 miles from me, and this is what's going on. Being invited to different things, man. I love it, man.
Hey, that's what's up. Me too, man. I'm on the same boat as you. Okay.
Right.
Who's your pick? Who's your pick? Which 2 teams will play in the NBA Finals?
So for the Western Conference, I'm gonna go with Phoenix. Memphis just beat Phoenix. Memphis without John Morant. Um, they just beat them without, and when he comes back, but I think Phoenix Western Conference will have. They got more experience. They lost last year. They're going to be a lot more hungry. I want to say Phoenix for the Eastern Conference. Whew, you killing me. Milwaukee is turning up, but Milwaukee and Giannis is turning up. I don't know what we're doing here in Philly, and I'm a firm believer in KD. Kevin Durant and Kyrie, but I think I might go with Phoenix. I might go with Phoenix and Milwaukee again. Wow.
Phoenix and Milwaukee.
I think I might have to. Yeah.
Okay. It looked like Miami is doing really well though. Miami's
They
doing
are.
well, but some people say, "Oh man, they might choke under pressure though." But hey,
Right, right,
we're gonna
right.
see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Hey, look at man, Keith. I appreciate you joining me this week here
Look,
on the
man.
1130 podcast. It was real dope, man, having you on, chatting with you. Before you go, you have a podcast. When new episodes come out, or where everybody can tap into it.
So everybody could tap in. Just Our Thoughts with the Fellas podcast is a show where me and my brothers, we talk about national, local news. We touch on trending topics. We touch on culturally relevant topics, and we have some core conversations, concerning all things us, all things Black. We could tap into us. Check us out, JOT with the Fellas on Instagram. We have a Just Our Thoughts Facebook page and Just Our Thoughts with the Fellas on YouTube. We're also on all streaming services, all our content. We have conversations with a Dr. Paul Hopkins who touched on holistic health, a holistic approach to health, certain things to do, foods that feed your soul. We touched on grief with Dr. Kia Everett, and how to cope and manage grief. We touched on estate planning. Me and the fellas, we really try to touch on all things when it comes to us and our culture, and let people become more aware of what's going on in our culture. And they can go right to our YouTube page and check out all our content. We thank you, appreciate you. Go download, subscribe. Just Our Thoughts with the Fellas on Apple, on Amazon Music, on Spotify, all things streaming, iHeartRadio. Y'all rock with the 1130 podcast, so the streaming services.
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, that's what's up, my guy, man.
Yes, sir.
All the links will be down below, man, with your podcast and everything for all your social media content for all my listeners and viewers to get at you, man. For real, this was really, really dope. Thank you. You have any questions? Any shout outs?
No, I just want to shout out my brothers. I want to shout out my brothers, KD, the Professor Kevy Kev. I want to shout out Ward and my brother EB. They are my hosts. They are my co-hosts on the show. As you know, Dre, this is one thing that you gotta love to be in this thing, man. So much time, so much investment that's given to this, man. So many conversations behind the scenes that's given to this, and how we make things look so good. So I want to shout out to my brothers. I want to shout out my girl, Camila. She's my rock, man. She she the one that always asking questions, man, and pushing me, and making me continue to making me better. So, shout out to them and my kids, man, my family. So
all right.
Appreciate you, Dre.
All right, no problem, man. No problem. Once again, I appreciate you, Keith, for coming through here. I appreciate you, Keith, for coming through here on the 1130 podcast. Dope vibe, man. Dope energy.
Yes,
you're welcome anytime to come through here on the podcast. Yo, for everyone who's listening and watching, and get at my guy, Keith Hall, man. For real. Get at him and tune in to his podcast. Keith, man, thank you, man. This was really dope, for real. Yo, Keith Hall, man, I appreciate you joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast. It was a dope time chopping it up with you, my guy, man, from fatherhood, being a dad, helping and empower young Black men in the Black community and everything, man. So definitely a dope conversation, definitely a dope vibe. Look at, we both shy as young cats, man. So, it's all about finding your purpose in life, man. And you got to keep going at it. So, you're welcome here anytime. All the links will be down below for his podcast, everyone, and for his social media account, so you can get at my man Keith Hall. And if you want him on your podcast or such, man, for real. It was dope. It was really, really dope. Thank you for your insight for the Will Smith thing, man. So That was cool, man. It's been a dope show, you guys. Really, really dope show. Before I get on out of here, man, yo, I can't leave, man, unless we get to the WTF moment, man, because you know it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. All right. WTF moment of the week, man. For real. Yo, you ever been to, well, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, man, have, been in the drive-through, going to fast food restaurants, man, about to order some food. Well, in this one, my WTF moment, you guys, this week, well, come from a drive-through at Popeyes. Yes, man. Yo, I would have loved to been sort of the cashier or the person who take the order during the drive-through, because this would have been me all day. I would have done something like this. But yeah, the guy pulled.
Hi, thank you for Popeye. This is Cynthia speaking. Make sure you have exact cash account and keep it popping. You hear me?
Oh, now, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. Keeping it real over here. That's what we do. What can I get you, baby?
Always keep it real. Let me get
That's
a
what
number.
I'm talking about.
Let me get a number 8, please.
Number 8. Okay, that's a 3 tender. Spicy or mild.
Spicy.
And what side of you gonna back that thing up for them saints this year?
Barbecue.
And what side of you gonna talk it like it's hot?
Red beans.
And what kind of drink you gonna set it off with?
Strawberry no ice.
Strawberry Fanta off the rocks?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? Cajun rice or coleslaw?
That's it, love. Trying to wash that waistline.
Say that there, watch that waistline, you hear me? So that's a 3 spicy tender with the red bean, barbecue sauce, twerk that thing with strawberry off the rocks, you hear me? 927, keep it real, ride it out, baby. You already know.
You already know, love.
All right, come on around, honey dumpling.
WTF, you guys. That was funny. Real funny. But you guys, man, this has been a dope ass show, man. Really dope show. Shout out to EB Radio and shout out to everyone who's joining me this week here on the 1130 podcast here on YouTube. Once again, shout out to Keith Hall for coming through on the podcast, man. I'm out of here. But before I do, you guys, make sure you tune in tonight, 5 p.m. afternoon time, buzzing with Marlo, the commission guys. We will be at it, man, chopping it up about WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame, everything, man. It was a big week, man. Really amazing big week. And also, you guys, the 1130 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, this Friday, streaming on YouTube at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for real. I'm gonna have my guy Gator Live, man. Yes, he's gonna be back on Talk Pro Wrestling, and we're gonna be talking some pro wrestling, man. From WrestleMania, Stone Cold coming back to fight, Cody Rhodes returning to W. It's so much, man, for real. So make sure you tune in this coming Friday. We'll talk pro wrestling, man, for real. That's dope. I'm out of here, man. You know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the 1130 podcast on YouTube. You dig, man? For real. Out of here, man. For real. This has been a dope one. Hope you guys stay safe, man. And stay safe, man. Stay safe, stay blessed. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, I see you guys next week and this Friday for Talk Pro Wrestling. Yo, it's your man Dre, a.k.a. Dre on Wheels. And I'm out.